Right then, everyone, we are travelling on the service number 8 from Hales Park to Rifle Range. And this is operated by Diamond buses from the Kidderminster depot. And I just hope you enjoy the journey. And the 8 used to be known as the 1 and 2. The 1 went from Kidderminster to Rifle Range, whilst the 2 went from Kidderminster to Hales Park. And before 2018, October 2018, the number 2 originally served Kidderminster Town Centre, the General Hospital, Haberley, Ribnall, then Bewdley, and then serving the 2 estates, Hales Park and Barkhill. But then, in September 2018, the 2 was rerouted to serve the West Midlands Safari Park, meaning the Haberley estate was withdrawn from the route. And the 2A, which was a revised route to the 2, replaced the 2 serving the Barkhill, leaving only the 2 to serve Kidderminster Town Centre, the General Hospital, and then the Ribnall Estate and on to Bewdley and Hales Park. The 2A, however, was short-lived, meaning Barkhill was finally withdrawn in October 2018, meaning the 2 just became an hourly service with no service on the half past the hour towards Bewdley. That meant you only had the only alternatives you had to Bewdley during the day was the 125 from Stourbridge to Bridge North, the 292 from Kidderminster to Ludlow, which at the time was operated by R&B buses, and of course you had the 291 also operated by R&B buses. That went from Kidderminster to Tenbury Wells. But in 2019, towards the end of 2019, R&B buses came to the end towards the start of 2020. And R&B ended the 291 and 292 services. The 291, however, was passed on to Yarrington's, while the 292 returned to Diamond, because if you remember, Diamond did it before, even when it was known as the 2L, because the 2L used to interwork with the number 2 service, and used to serve the estates what the 2 did, just like what the 8's doing right now. And so 2020, Diamond took over the 292. And then the 2 got suspended for a little bit due to obvious reasons. But then it got reinstated in July of that same year. And then in October that same year, saw the introduction of the 8 to replace the 8s. Introduction of the 8 to replace the 1 and 2 services. And however, the original 8 did not serve the General Hospital. It went direct to Haberley, and then sooner or later, the 8 was then replaced to serve the General Hospital. Well, rerouted to serve the General Hospital in 2021. Because that was the same year when the 42 became the 52. But then, in 2022, saw a big year for Diamond making their new network. But most of it was short-lived. The first purchase for Diamond buses in 2022 was Clarabelle's over in the Birmingham area. And most of their routes went over to National Express, while most of them came over to Diamond Tividale, and that included the 94 route from Birmingham to Chelmsley Wood, which only lasted till December of that year, meaning you've only got National Express West Midlands on the 94 corridor, because Clarabelle's used to share with NX on the 94 from Birmingham to Chelmsford Wood. And also they had as well the 600, which went over to Solus coaches, and then Solus gave up that route completely. So they gave up the 600 route, which operated in Erdington. So Solus had the 600 off Diamond, which was an ex-Clarabelle's route. And of course, the Clarabelle's used to do the 75 from Sutton Coldfield to Birmingham International Station. But by the time Diamond returned to the route, because Diamond used to do it, originating from Central buses, and instead of it being the 75 from Sutton Coldfield to Birmingham International, it became the 76 and the 76A, replacing the 6 and 6A up in Tamworth, which was known as the 16 and 16A from the Central buses days. And Diamond had the off Central before it was renumbered to the 6 and 6A. And then the next purchase after that was Johnson's XL bus. But however, one route was cut back, and that was the 150 that used to run from Redditch to Birmingham, due to the fact that Diamond was already running the 50 service between Maypole and Birmingham. So that meant the 150 had to be shortened to King's Heath. It might have been easier to shorten it at Maypole, then giving passengers connections to continue on their journey to King's Heath and Birmingham. And of course, Diamond also had the X20 full from Coventry to Stratford. But however, that was only short-lived, and the Stratford work was passed from Diamond to Stagecoach. Also, during that time, with all these changes, loads of routes were going to be cut back, especially this route not being sustainable at current passenger levels. But however, most of the routes were under review, and then they got reprieved, and it's now likely this route is continuing onwards now. So we'll see what happens in the near future. So anyway, here we go. We're going round now on the number 8 service towards Kidderminster. So we're now on the Habley Estate. So then, here we go. We're going across on the Habley Estate on the number 8 route. And however, the number 8 is usually worked by smaller buses, like the ADL Enviro 200s. But however, on this occasion, I was lucky to have a bigger bus, an Optare Versa, and I really like the Optare buses. They're brilliant buses. I like the Versas, I like the Solo SRs, the normal Solos, even the Slimline Solos. I even like the Metro Cities. And there used to be 3 Metro Cities, ex-Central buses at Kidderminster, but those buses have now gone up to Burton-on-Trent at the former Midland Classic depot, because Diamond bought Midland Classic and branded it as Diamond Bus East Midlands. And the Metro Cities were brilliant. They were first on the 125 route, and then they moved on to a variety of routes like the 3s and even the locals in Kiddie, and even the 42, which is now today's 52, and they've also been on the 7s up to Sign Hill, and the 192s to Alzoin, and even the 2s as well. Well, not the 2s, the 202. Well, they have been on the 2s and the 10s, and they've been on the 202 from Bromsgrove to Alzoin. I remember that when they used to be on the 202 a lot. And even they've been on the 145, and of course they've been on the 292 service to Ludlow as well. So they've been on the Ludlow run. So anyway, here we go on the on the 8th over to Kidderminster Town Centre, and then we'll proceed on to Rifle Range. And we do apologise for uploading videos very slowly, because there was a couple of delays with some videos being uploaded, and that was the X10 service from Gornwood to Birmingham. So I've uploaded that now onto my channel, and so there's been a couple of delays of uploading the videos. So I do apologise to keep you all waiting, but they'll be with you as soon as possible. I will be delivering them to you as soon as I can get them onto you. So I hope you enjoy my YouTube channel, Joe's Bus Train Plane Lift Adventures. We've now hit 1-27k subs, and that's amazing. We've done so well with this YouTube channel, and we'll continue with more and more exciting videos that will be here on the channel. So we got more videos yet to come, and I am planning for future videos. There may be a trip to Malvern on the 44 service from Worcester, and also maybe on the and I might do the 45, the last remaining Worcester local service from First. I might get that one done, and also I might do quite a few other routes as well, but I'm not sure yet. I'll find out. And so here we go. We're now on our way towards. So we're now on our way to the General Hospital. So we're now on our way to the General Hospital in Kidderminster. And so anyway, here we are at the hospital now in Kidderminster, and this is going to take us all the way now to our final destination. So most of the video is done pilot now until we get to the turn off point for the rifle range. So just continue to enjoy the journey as we head all the way towards rifle range.
and homeless stores.
So then, we are now doing the last leg of the journey on the number 8, and we're heading over to the rifle range. So the number 8 corridor between rifle range and Kidderminster is every half an hour, and then the section to the hospital and Hales Park and Bewdley is hourly. And so here we go, we're on our way now towards rifle range. So, journeys at 5-2 is full from rifle range to Hales Park, whilst the short working service to Kidderminster is 25 past the hour, and the 5-2, the 1855, just goes as far as Lode Street, and that's only on Monday to Friday, whilst Saturdays it is just between rifle range and Kidderminster. So here we go. Because if you remembered, in 2021 the 8 was revised, and it was the 29th of August 2021 when they changed the service back to partially what the 2 used to do, and it provided a new connection to Kidderminster Hospital, because as you know, Kidderminster Hospital is a very important link for bus services that go that way. So the service went to operate an increased frequency every 30 minutes between rifle range and Kidderminster town centre, and the regular hourly frequency to the hospital, Bewdley, Hales Park and Barkhill. The changes to the 8 service was implemented to replace the Diamond Bus 42 service to the hospital. But however, that turns out not to be the case, because if you remembered, the 42 used to go past Brinton's Park to the hospital, whilst the 8 goes through the town centre to the hospital. And the 42 service was replaced by the 52 service. That goes the same way as what the 42 did from Kidderminster through to Bromsgrove and on to Redditch, and that's going to be the next video coming up after this one. And Diamond Bus services to the hospital is now known. Diamond Bus services to the hospital is the 8, the 125 and the 292, offering a bus from Kidderminster bus station to the hospital up to every half an hour during the day, because you've got the 125 and the 292, and the 292 runs more often now. It used to be every 2 hours, and now it's more frequently now, so that's really great. So I'm hoping to do a trip out on the 292 to Ludlow because I've done a lot of trips to Bridgnorth, and I'm hoping to also do some of the town services in Ludlow. For example, like the park and ride run, and of course the local service that goes around the town. Because I've done the Bridgnorth town service, the 101, and now I want to do the Ludlow town services. So right here is the bus depot for Kidderminster Diamond. And that used to be the old First depot, because if you remembered, First used to operate in Kidderminster before Diamond. Certain services were competing with Whittles. If you remembered, Whittles used to serve Kidder years ago. Good days back in the day when Whittles served Kidderminster. And so here we go. We're on our way now towards Rifle Range. So as well as certain changes that happened with the 8, the following year when they were almost going to cut the route off, but it didn't happen, the 303 service that got suspended in 2020, 2 years later, the 303 was rerouted to serve the Beverley estate, replacing the 37 service that was operated by First Worcestershire. And as you probably know, the 303 passes through Beverley, so the 303 was revised to serve the Beverley estate. And so anyway, here we go. We're now on our way. So we're now on our way into over to Rifle Range, and then the next video we are planning on the next video that will be coming up will be the 52 service. That is the Redditch run. So the Redditch run is going to be the next video. So I'll see you for the Redditch route. I might be doing the 52A one day, but I'll let you know at some point. Because I know I've got to do the 52A at some point. But only most of the route will be filmed on the 52A. Because basically, between the train station and Redditch, the 52A follows the 52 route. It's just like the only difference between Bromsgrove and the train station, the 52 goes direct to the train station, whilst the 52A goes round Charford and follows with the 99, which is run by a custom operator. So here we are. This is the Stourport Road. So the 8 follows the 3, and then when we come to the turn off point, the 8 turns off. Whilst the number 3 goes straight ahead to go on to Birch and Coppice,